What is going on, guys? Jack here, and welcome to the Charge to the Top, here with Hereford FC in Football Manager 2017. And today, well, it's the start of a brand new series here, a lower league challenge. Some of you guys craved it last year, of course. Last year was all about Gibraltar. The year before that, it was all about Lewis FC, and today, I'm pleased to announce Hereford FC are the team who I am going to be trying to take to the Premier League and beyond in Football Manager 2017. So for those of you who don't know about Hereford, and I imagine a lot of English football fans will be familiar, but I have a lot of subscribers who aren't English, and I'm sure there's a few English fans amongst you who aren't too familiar with Hereford. Hereford United was a football club founded in 1924 in the town of Hereford. They spent, I think, just over 20 years in total in the Football League, and as recently as 2008, they were playing in League One. Since then, really, things really have gone from bad to worse for Hereford United, and in 2014, following a number of owners taking over the club, making promises, and the club really not getting out the mess it was in, the club received a winding up order and ceased to exist, and that was at the end of 2014. In its place, the fans of Hereford set up a new club called Hereford Football Club in 2015, and last season was their first ever season in the English football pyramid, where they played in the 9th tier. They won all but one trophy that they were involved in, and the trophy they didn't win, they lost in the FA Vase final of. Last year, as you can see here, they did get promoted, and they now find themselves in the 8th tier of English football, which is one league below Lewis, for you guys who are wondering kind of where that sits relative to where we are now. So of course, for this save, I am using a custom database. I'll link that down in the description. It goes down, I think, as low as the 22nd tier in some areas. Of course, for this, we are going to be playing in the 8th tier. To put that into perspective, that is 2 leagues below the Vanarama North and South, which are the normal kind of limited playable leagues. You know, you can go as far as that in the vanilla Football Manager database. So anyway, Hereford here, a team with a lot of support and a lot of money, really, given the league that they're in. Because they're a Phoenix club, because they were well supported, the team regularly, I believe, pull in over 2,000 fans. I think last season, they, on 4 occasions, exceeded 4,000 fans, which for a team in the 9th tier is absolutely ludicrous. Anyway, just looking at the club as a whole here, you can see we have £160,000 in the bank. We've got a little bit of a transfer budget for this, our first season. Our wage budget also has some money to spare, which is nice. In terms of our squad, it's a small squad, and it's made up of a few star players, which I'm quickly going to run through now. So the first player we have, Jake Sinclair, a very, very talented player. They signed him this year in real life. He's been a trainee at Southampton, had a loan spell at Hibs, had been released, I think, last year, had a season in the lower leagues, and well, he's ended up at Hereford, and he's a very good player. Definitely a player to keep an eye out for this season. Other players, we've got Tristan Plummer, looks very good. Plummer here, you can see 26 years old, very talented player for this division, great physicals. And 2 more players we'll look through really quick. Jamie Edge here, I feel like the star ratings are a little bit off for this guy, but at 22 years old, he could be one of our better players. You can see here there are a few players who played for Hereford prior to it being kind of reformed under the name Hereford FC. So just to be aware of that. And I guess another player who kind of fits that mould is Ryan Green here, a Welsh international who, as you can see, for 2 separate spells, played for Hereford United, and last year he rejoined the club where he made 33 appearances. So anyway, that's kind of the overview, I guess, of our squad at the moment. In terms of my plans in this, the first transfer window, I really want to add some depth to this side. We've actually got a fair bit of wage budget remaining. We have a few players on quite a lot of money, but I feel like there's a few players we can maybe get in for less than what some of our current players are on. In an ideal world, I'd like to get all the players who are on the kind of running contracts where they get paid on a game-by-game basis gone, or at least onto permanent deals, just because I'd rather have the security of knowing that the players are ours and they're not going to be poached away. So that's that. In terms of the league itself, if we just have a look at the division, you can see here, not too many teams I think will ring bells with football fans. You may recognise teams like Salisbury. I think they were in the Football League not that long ago. I think they've actually been reformed fairly recently, looking at their history here. But they were a club, I believe, in a similar situation to Hereford. Looking at the season preview here, we are the favourites to go up, and comfortably favourites. There is going to be a lot of pressure on my shoulders to reach that success, and hopefully, with the squad that we've got and a few nice additions and a bit of squad depth, that's something we will be able to achieve relatively easy in this, our first season. So anyway, guys, I'm going to go forward to the start of the season. We're going to get straight into this, look at the transfers. Hopefully we have a nice squad at our disposal for the opening game of the season. Speaking of which, it's going to be against Evesham in about a month and a half's time. So I'll join you guys for that. Hopefully we can get some business done and have a really solid squad going into this, our first season. Okay, guys, so we are back. It's been a month and a half. I've been busy, more busy than I expected to be, if I'm honest. Plenty of transfers going on. A few new staff members as well. We managed to actually get a scouting team established, which is a little bit rare for a team in our division. So anyway, we have got Evesham as our opening game of the season, and well, I think the best place to start really is with the transfers, because as you can see here, I've brought in a lot of players without going over the wage budget that was previously set. We've done some smart business. I'm really happy with the players I've brought in. Some players on very, very small wages from fellow non-league sides. And, well, I hope that with the additions we've got, we can quite easily walk the league. We'll quickly look at the players on the outs, and one that will be notable immediately is Tristan Plummer, a player who I said I wanted to keep hold of. Unfortunately, he was one of the few players who weren't on permanent deals at the club. They were on the game-by-game kind of rolling non-contracts. As a result, Ebbsfleet decided to go and poach him, so he will not be playing for us this year, which is a real shame because I was looking forward to getting my hands on him. Another player who's gone out on loan is John Mills here, who's gone to Leamington, and he's a good player. My main issue with him basically was he was one of the biggest earners at the club, and he was probably only my 4th or 5th best striker. I couldn't sell him, no one wanted to come in for him, so a loan where all the wages are being paid for by the team loaning him in was kind of a logical move. He was a very good player, as you can see here, for Hereford last year, but as you'll see when it comes to our new additions, I just don't think he's going to be playing enough football to warrant the wages he's currently on. James Gregory, one of the few players to go out on loan. I'll quickly flick through these guys because a lot of them just youngsters who, fellow lower league English sides wanted to get in. Perhaps another thing that is just worth noting is the fact there are a few regens I've signed and sold. With lower league English databases, some clubs just don't have enough players for a squad, and so when I set up the game, I tick the tick box, which is kind of generate players for playable teams. That ensures that every single team has a squad of players, and you've not got teams that just don't have enough players to fill the team, basically. Anyway, 2 players who left on frees. Alex Harris here. He's a good goalkeeper, but he was on a lot of money, and we have better goalkeepers. He would have been our 3rd choice keeper if I'd kept hold of him. I feel like goalkeeper injuries really aren't that common in Football Manager. A lot of you will know I don't use one on the bench, so I was happy to let Harris go, and also Horsell go. Both okay goalkeepers, but at the end of the day, they're just not quite good enough, and neither of them would have been kind of even 2nd choice keeper this year, so it made sense to get rid of them. So anyway, on to the transfers on the ins, the first of which is Charlie Johnson here, a very, very good fullback. You will notice that my attribute colours ranges are slightly different. Traditionally, obviously, you'd have 5, 10, 15, and that's kind of where the benchmarks are for the attribute colours. With us being in a lower league, I've lowered them all down just so you can more easily see the standout stats. But looking at this guy, a very, very good player. We signed him from Haverhill Borough, who actually had a few good regens generate. The first of which, and the one I really wanted to get, was this guy, Thomas Saunders. I'm still going after him, but he doesn't want to join me, which is all just a little bit sad, really. But no, Charlie Johnson, we did manage to get in from them. A leading player for Vanarama North and South Side, so playing kind of 2 tiers below his ability. I mean, take that with a pinch of salt, of course, because my assistant's ratings aren't the best, but he is a good player. Another player who's very, very good is this guy, Dan Townsend. A very nice playmaker, 13 vision, 10 passing. They are very good stats for in this division. Physically, fairly good physicals, not the best in the air, not the fastest, but good stamina. Decent acceleration too, I guess. Worth noting that I'm training him to play as a centre mid, because when you see our system, we're playing kind of a 4-4-2 with 2 centre mids, and I feel like this guy is just so well suited to play that centre mid role. He just needs to really pick up the position, but for our opening game, he will be playing there. The next player we've got in, another player from Haverhill Borough, is this guy, David Lynch. A very good player, great off the ball, great composure, good finishing, good first touch. You can see physically very, very well-rounded, an exceptional poacher. Perhaps his concentration lets him down a little bit, but at this division, I really expect to see him tear things up. As you can see, a very good player for Vanarama North and South Sides. He has good flair as well, which is going to be nice. His pace is going to cause problems, I feel like, at this level. A player I'm very excited about. The next player we have in is this guy, Archie Love. A player who some of you may remember from my first ever Football Manager save on my channel, the FC United of Manchester save back in 2014. This guy, he was a hero for me in the lower leagues then, Archie Love. He's still a hero for me now. As you can see, former Burnley man. He's had a few moves around lower league teams. We've managed to pick him up on a free. I don't know how much he's going to play for us, but he's not on too much wage-wise. And yeah, a very, very good player there. Anyway, the next player we have, Darren Cartwright, a very versatile player. Probably not going to start too much for us, but a player player who can play kind of anywhere across the midfield, which is extremely useful to have, and, well, given his very low wages, I was delighted about that. Anyway, the next player we have, our first choice goalkeeper for the year, it's Luke Wakeman, 18 years old, a very, very exciting player. Delighted we got him in. His first touch and one-on-ones, really the big weaknesses, as well as his distribution. But looking at him here, you can see he was released by Cardiff. We've picked him up on £20 a week. Daylight robbery right there. But no, very excited to get him, and a very, very good player as well. The next player we have is Moulton. Again, £20 a week wages. There's a few players here who the wages that we've got them on are a bit of a joke, really, but I'm not going to complain because it has allowed me to really build up a nice squad. As you can see here, he was released by Derby. He's actually been out of football for 1 year. He didn't play for anyone in the 15-16 season, so he was happy to come and join us here at Hereford. A very good centre-back, got some potential about him. Probably won't start too much this year, but definitely a player to keep an eye out on. The next player we've got in Jerome Walker, one of a few wingers I did bring in towards the end of this kind of period of the pre-season. With Plummer leaving, we needed to get in some players, and Jerome Walker was one of those men, and I'm very excited about his kind of potential out wide using his pace. Forster, another similar player. Unfortunately, this guy can't play the attacking mid position, which is where I will be playing my wide men this year. We are training him to play that role, and when we do need to play him, this guy Forster, I will probably just drop the left mid back a little bit. Kind of makes sense. He's a player with good physical, good crossing, good work rate as well. In fact, great work rate for this division. Very excited to see what he can do out on the left. Haldane, another winger here, got one under 21 cap for Wales, 31 years old, Welsh, joined us on a 1-year deal. You can see here a player who actually played in some fairly decent kind of divisions in the Football League, certainly. He's kind of had a bit of a fall from grace of late, but at 31 years old, coming in on a 1-year deal, as have all the players we've signed this year because of the nature of our club. Being so small, we can't offer more than a 1-year deal for these players. But no, I think he's a very good player, good pace as well for this division. Crossing perhaps lets him down a little bit, but at the same time, I think he can offer us something going forward. Jacob Cook has joined us too, 18 years old, as you can see here, released by Watford at the end of last season. A good box-to-box player, only 18 years old, definitely a player to keep an eye out on, and a very good player for this division. Luke Beasley next, good little striker, 19 years old. Again, another player who's been released, been out of football for a few years, was released by Port Vale, but at 19, still a lot about him that I like. We then have Brandon Smalley, a very versatile player, can play centre mid, centre attacking mid and striker, an ideal player to have on the bench. Of course, in this division, worth noting, we only have 5 subs. As a result, you really need to have players on the bench who can play a variety of positions, so you've got all your bases covered. Anyway, a few non-English players now coming in, the first of which is Ismail Diallo. As you can see here, played for Nottingham Forest, was released. We brought him in. He's a very good player defensively as a fullback. Going forward, 2 crossing, 3 dribbling. Not great, really, but I'm hoping that he can give in some good performances for us. The next player we have is Kim Jae-hyun. He is a South Korean player. He was released by Portsmouth, as you can see, 2 years ago. A good little centre mid, 20 years old. Excited to see what he might be able to do for us when given a chance. Jaden Hall, the next player we've got in, another just pacey wide man with some decent crossing and good winger attributes out on the right-hand side. Pretty sure this guy will get a fair bit of football. Last year was on loan at Chester from Burnley. In fact, that was 2 years ago. A year out of football, been willing to take the step down to us. Very excited about him. The next player we have, Lewis Lacey, a fantastic centre-back. Another player who may be familiar to those of you who watched my FM13 save with FC United in Manchester. It's Lewis Lacey. As you can see here, released by FC United after 50 appearances for the club. A very, very good player for this division at 21 years old. A lot to like about this guy. And the last player we brought in, Stuart Searle, or Searle, answers on a postcard. I don't know. He looks serious though. And he's come in as a goalkeeping coach as well as our goalkeeper. He's going to be our backup keeper, 37 years old, but a very good goalkeeper at that. Excited to see what he can do if we need to call upon him. You can see he played for MK Dons in the past, Watford, Chelsea even for a period. Had a bit of a weird career really when you look through the variety of teams. But alas, he's a good player, good coach, and he ticks a lot of boxes for us. So in terms of our squad here, as you can see, it's a fairly big squad. There's no registration or squad numbers in this league. And, well, our squad of 27, I think, is going to be big enough for the challenge at hand. We've got a lot of kind of coverage across a lot of positions. And when you look at our team as a whole, it's very, very strong going into this, the first game of the year. I will now apologise for the fact that the white names are on the back of white shirts. I didn't think about that when I did the design for this skin. I may have to move the names back if you guys want me to. I can kind of read them on my monitor, but I imagine for some of you it's going to be a bit tricky. Anyway, in goal for our first game ever, we have Luke Wakeman, obviously 18 years old, a player I already talked about. Very excited to have him in at the club. At left back we go with Rob Purdy, a player who was already at the side. He's 33 years old, not got the craziest physicals or pace, but a player who's been at Hereford for a number of years, across a number of spells, as far back as 2002, back in the Vanarama National. As you can see, he was part of the club back when they were in League 2 as well. He's returned to us this year, and I'm hoping that this year he's going to give a good performance at left back for us. Lewis Lacey at centre back is going to play alongside Ryan Green, who I already talked about when we first joined the club. Absolutely love the look of this guy. A very good player. At 35 years old, not going to have a lot of seasons left in him, but an absolute veteran and a very useful player to have, particularly given the wealth of youth we've brought into the club to kind of start this year. Anyway, the next player we have Charlie Johnson at right back, 28 years old, amazing mentals. I already talked about the fact we signed this guy. He's exciting. I'm kind of curious to see how this guy does. He's a bit of an enigma for me. He doesn't have the ability going forward in terms of crossing and dribbling, and his acceleration is a little bit lacking, but mentally he's very good. His physicals aren't too bad at all for this division in truth, and I think he could offer us a lot this year. Anyway, at centre mid on defend we go with Jacob Cook, 18 years old, former Watford man. He's a good little centre mid, let me tell you now, a very good player, and particularly defensively as a centre mid on defend. Kind of ticks all the boxes you'd want him to tick. I feel like at this level, for me, I want to see our players in the role that they're going to be playing in to have attributes kind of all at least 7 or 8. That's kind of a nice little benchmark to aim for, and as you can see, Jacob Cook here kind of ticks that. Anyway, Townsend is going to be playing as a deep line playmaker for us. A very, very good player who, of course, we brought in this year. You can see his vision's fantastic, his passing's good, his technique's good. Not got the craziest physicals, but as a deep line playmaker, not going to be expecting too much running from him. Out on the left-hand side, we go Lewis Haldane. He's playing as a winger, even though he's right-footed. He can play on either wing, however, so we have got that option to switch him with, of course, Sinclair, who is very much the star man here. Jake Sinclair, 21 years old, an incredible player. He only has 1 year left on his contract. I desperately want to extend it at the nearest possible opportunity. An incredible talent, an incredible player for this tier. He's really going to tear things up, I think. Up top for our first ever game, we go with this guy, Pablo Haysham. Player was already at the club when we joined. As you can see, last year he got 23 goals in 36 games. He's an exciting little player, some nice pace. And alongside him, we go with the one, the only, is David Lynch, who is probably the player I'm most excited about to just see how he does at this kind of level. 24 years old, incredible physicals, very nice kind of attacking stats in terms of his finishing composure and off the ball. I expect fireworks from him today. So anyway, that's our team. In terms of the system we are going to be playing, it's a 4-4-2 with wingers kind of pushing far forward. In terms of instructions, we're looking to exploit the flanks and look for overlaps. I'm not doing too much crazy with the instructions just yet. I'm sure over the coming season these are going to adapt and change. But given how strong our squad is, I feel like I can afford to treat this season as a little bit of a season to find our feet, to perhaps experiment with systems, work out which players are players I really want to hold on to for kind of the long haul. And from there, hopefully, we can use this season as a springboard going forward. So anyway, we go into this game by far and away the favourites. Jake Sinclair, the key man to watch here. A little bit of pressure perhaps on our shoulders. You can see here they are going to be playing a flat 4-4-2. We'll see how we get on. I mean, the pre-season's been very good. We've added a lot of quality to the side, and I'm very happy about that. The other thing that I'm really happy with is just kind of the overall size of the squad now and the fact we've managed to keep below the wage budget. When you consider the squad has basically gained, I think, 10 to 15 players, and, well, we are, I think, only, what, £100 under our wage budget. It's very, very nice. The players that we brought in, very cheap wages. I mean, the wages as a total have only gone up by about £1,000, and that's with the 15 additions we've brought in. We've got rid of a few players who were perhaps hogging more of the wage budget than I'd like. And to be honest, this squad very much feels like my own team, so that's nice. But anyway, we'll see how we get on here. You know, first game, time to set a precedent. It's not going to be our first ever game at Edgar Street, unfortunately, as we are away for this game. But, well, I'm expecting some beautiful goals and hopefully some nice attacking football from us. We have the quality. Sinclair out on the right, number 11, definitely the player to keep an eye out on in this squad. He is just outstanding. A real coup for, I guess you could say, Hereford in real life. When I saw how good he was in FM, I actually had to check if he actually played for Hereford because I thought it might be a bug with the database. And, well, that's not a bug with the database. Haysham scores, and it's Lewis Lacey, the centre-back, with the assist. 9 minutes gone. It's our first ever shot as manager. It's our first ever goal. It's all very, very good. It was Lewis Lacey, the centre-back, the new addition from FC United, booting the ball forward, and, well, Pablo, he latched onto it. And it was a nice little finish in the end. Just slotted it in at the near post. Can't complain about that one little bit. And, well, it's kind of the dream start for us. Lacey wins the ball, route one, straight down the middle. We are playing lower league English football at its finest. We've mastered it. It's the route one hoof ball from the centre-back between the opposition centre-backs for your pacey players to run onto. That's all you need to do in English lower league football. If Sunday League has taught me anything, it's that. But no, we are a goal up here, and now can we just kind of take it to them? That's got to be the plan, surely. Townsend, Lynch, going forward. Can he get his first ever goal? He thunders it against the post. It was one hell of an effort. And, well, it's had to be cleared away for a corner in the end. A good little effort, though, really, by David there. As I said, a player I expect a lot from, with 11 off the ball, I think it is, 11 finishing and 10 composure. So it's close to that. You expect a lot from him at this tier, because those are the kind of attributes you look for in perhaps a Vanarama North-South, maybe even just a Vanarama Conference player. But at the moment, we're going strong. 20 minutes gone. We are dominating possession. Evesham yet to get the ball forward, really. And, well, we just need to get a few more goals, don't we? We just want to make it more comfortable at this point. I should point out at this stage, I guess, that I expect this first season... okay, I'm not going to say it now. Now we've saved it, I will say it. I do expect this first season to be relatively easy. We are the favourites to go up. We have a lot of money. We've obviously been able to improve the squad kind of just an incredible amount. But I feel like the real challenge is to be holding on to these players and also establishing a system and working out which of these players are players I'm desperate to hold on to going forward. Because I feel like, particularly in the early years of lower league saves, there's a lot of turnaround in players. And, well, there may well be a lot of turnaround in players because Evesham have just scored. And, well, I want a good season. Unbeaten is like the stretch goal. If we can win the league comfortably, that's going to be nice. Salisbury are going to be the big rivals, I think, that kind of prevent us doing that. And unfortunately, I'm now going to stare at our goalkeeper and wonder what he was doing, because it wasn't very good goalkeeping. But I won't blame him, Wakeman. I'm not blaming you. You're a youngster, first ever game. I get it. The pressures of playing away from home in the palace of Evesham Stadium. It's a real coliseum of football. Is Evesham's Stadium Park, wherever we are. But, well, we want to give the fans a treat. You have turned up here, and, well, we might well do. We've got the ball here. It's a nice build-up play. Purdy whips in the ball. David Lynch isn't going to get there. Townsend into the box. It's a beautiful goal. It's another one of the new additions. It's Dan Townsend. And, well, the central attacking mid come deep line playmaker. What a goal that was. He has like 11 technique. I think he used all 11 of it there. The header clear. He latches onto it. Cushions it in. Pick that out. What a goal that is by Townsend. He is loving it. I'm loving it. We are all loving it. We're 2-1 up against Evesham, and, well, after a little bit of a wobble, having conceded, we get back on the straight and narrow. But, well, you can see looking at the stats here, Evesham with 2 clear-cut chances. We're not looking as kind of comfortable as perhaps I'd like us to. I do feel like, as I said, over the course of the season, you are going to see our system evolve. We're going to change things around. We're going to experiment with the tactics, see what works with our given players. I've not really played this kind of 4-4-2 in a few years in Football Manager, where you only play with 2 centre mids and then you kind of have 2 attacking wide men. It might work, it might not. It's all going to be about adapting, but... well, that's the beauty of Football Manager, particularly in the kind of situation we're in with this first season, where we really can, tweak our system, refine it, find something that works for us. And, well, David Lynch... don't do that anymore. That didn't work. It's an ambitious effort by him. And, well, the referee's had enough. He's blown for half-time off the back of that effort. It was that poor. Anyway, 2-1 is the result. I'm actually going to tell the players I'm far from pleased. I want them fired up. It's not really been good enough. You can see here, looking at our team as a whole, match sharpness really is a problem. I'm surprised it's not at 100% because we have played a lot of friendlies in pre-season. But as you can see here, Lacey's struggling a fair bit. We have got Joel Edwards, who we can bring on to play centre-back, who is a very, very good player, the 24-year-old. We've got other options on the bench as well. We've got Jamie Edge, the 22-year-old, another player who was already here when we joined. Brandon Smalley as well can play centre mid or kind of as a striker if we need him to. We've got Jerome Walker on the bench with his 13 pace and 13 acceleration and 12 flair. Sorry, not 17 flair. 17 flair would be incredible. Unfortunately not. And we also have Mike Simmons here, who's 30, a very good target man. I feel like he is the ideal plan B in this division. He has a few real kind of standout attributes, including his heading and kind of his sheer physicality as a target man, but not a lot of pace. But if we're desperate for a goal, he's the kind of man we can throw on. Is Summerfield about to get sent off 15 seconds. He is. Okay, well, Lucas Summerfield has been sent off at Evesham 12 seconds into the second half. You don't get this in the Football League when you play Football Manager. It's like watching a whole different game at this level. But, well, 2-1 up, Evesham down a man. What system are they playing at? Are they going to continue to chase at this point? Or are they kind of... Okay, they are chasing. They're playing 3 centre mids. Interesting. I wonder if we can exploit that a little bit. Haysham, Lynch, we're going forward with the ball here. I want a few more goals, if I'm honest. Now that they're down to 10 men, the expectations have just gone up another notch. I want us to be ruthless in this game. I want us to really pile on the pressure. And while we may well do that, it's a gift for us in truth. And it's David Lynch who makes an instant impact on his debut. Haysham, with the assist, another debutant in this game. And, well, 55 minutes gone. You'd say at 2 goals up and with a sending off, this game is ours to lose. Pilkington with some atrocious defending. And, well, I talked about ruthlessness. That was a ruthless finish. He just lashed it in. Point blank. Keeper doesn't even bother to move. There was no point. As soon as Lynch hit that, you knew it was destined for the back of the net. And, well, things looking very good here. 3-1 up. Evesham struggling. As you can see, still having significantly more of the possession. We've not created enough clear-cut chances in truth, but, well, looking at the game as a whole, it's been very much in control for us. I'm going to change Dan Townsend to a kind of a more attacking playmaker, I think, going forward here. So we'll go with that. I want him to push forward a little bit. It's a bit more of a preferred role for him going forward. And, well, with 20 minutes left, I'm feeling pretty good about this opening performance. It's kind of what we would have wanted from our debut game. And, well, can we get a few more? I guess that's the next question. Townsend, he's already scored 1 banger. Haldane, it might be an own goal. It's hit the woodwork. It's scrambled clear. It could have ended up anywhere. I'm going to make a few changes. I think Haldane come off for Jerome Walker. I'm going to bring in Smalley as well, I think, for Jacob Cook. Just to get some fresh legs on there. We have got one more change, but I think we'll hold on to it just for the last 15 minutes because, well, if you've ever played Football Manager, you know that if you make your last sub, your third sub, before the last 10 minutes, there's always an injury. It always happens. It's like an unwritten law. So, no, we'll hold on to it for now. But 6 minutes left, 3-1 up. It's been comfortable. I would have liked it to have been more comfortable in truth, but it does look like our kind of leadership here at Hereford is going to start with a win. They might have a chance in McGee. If it's 3-2, suddenly I don't feel quite so happy. Wakeman does hold on to this one. The player, the number 9 for Evesham there, went very, very wide with the ball in his attempt to get there. Just not a lot of footballing intelligence by him in truth. And, well, 2 minutes left, time ticking away. We are going to get the 3 points. We are going to get the win that we wanted to start. And, well, I'm very, very happy with how we've opened up this season. Walker, can we get one? No, we can't. The ref decides to, well, put Evesham out of their misery. 3-1 it finishes. We can be very happy with the football we've played there. I think we've got the ideal start. We go second in the league, of course, after one game. Not too much significance in that, but it's a nice little stat to have. And, well, as you can see here, we've got games coming thick and fast in the lower league, so there's going to be quite a lot of squad rotation, I imagine, this season. That'll be something to keep an eye out on, and it's another reason behind why we've got such a big squad this year. You can see with no international break, there's a lot of games being played very, very quickly, and, well, we're going to have our kind of staff ready and rearing to go to kind of keep players fit. You can see, I'll just show you the staff real quick. We have the best coaching and everything in the division. I've brought in some scouts and stuff. I might cover them at a later date, but there's nothing too significant about them now. They're just good players. Patrick Anderson here, or good scouts rather. Rory Campbell here. You can see fairly good judging ability and potential for this tier. And then in terms of the coaching, it's nothing standout, but relative to the division, it's still very, very good, particularly the fitness coaching. I think John Gray, a fantastic player to get, or fantastic coach to get in for this tier with good determination, good level of discipline, good motivating, and very good fitness coaching. Definitely a player or staff member, I'm going to keep doing that, who I think can help us out long term, particularly with this kind of season, which is, as I said, doesn't really have too many breaks in it. But anyway, guys, that is going to round up episode 1 here of The Save with Hereford. Hopefully you've enjoyed the opening episode. If you've got any comments, questions, anything like that, feel free to leave them down below. The skin that I'm using is a custom skin. I know some people are going to ask about that. It's still very much in the testing phases. You might have noticed a few bugs during the course of this video, which I'd like to get polished with Blues Till I Die, who helped me make the skin. As soon as it's available, I'll be sure to let you guys know in one of these episodes, as well as link it down in the description of the video itself. And yeah, guys, that's all from me. Thank you for watching. Let me know what you make of this series so far. Expectations for this season. Do you think I should be going for the unbeaten season? Maybe let me know. Where do you think we'll finish? How many points do you think we can get? That'd be interesting for me to know what you guys expect from me in this, our first season. 42 games to be played. Predict our record down below. As always, if you have enjoyed, smash the like button. It does greatly help me out. And other than that, it is me, Jack, and I'll talk to you guys in a bit. I'm out.